Good morning. Today is July 4th. For us Americans, that means Independence Day. Right. So happy Independence Day, y'all. If you don't celebrate Independence Day, happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? No, happy Monday. Yep, Monday. But it's garden tour time. So let's talk about it. So I find it odd a lot of times when I set my camera up on the tripod, like I feel more awkward talking to it with both hands, like you can see my hands.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Be good just to hold them down by your side. Yeah, great.
Holding the camera feels a lot better, like we're engaging better. So yeah, we're in the garden, and it is not as beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful garden. I love it. But we got some stuff going on in here, and there's a reason for that. So I have been able to harvest some of my tomatoes, and I just canned some salsa, but I've been able to try my Black Beauty tomatoes. They're getting, I don't know how Jess does it with the coffee cup either. I say that, it's like the third time I've said it, like I don't have enough places to set my coffee cup. So next year when I plant my garden, I'm gonna have like strategic little like blocks, tall little blocks set around, just so I can set my coffee, just for garden tours. But I'll pick this one. So Black Beauty tomato, the black part of it is actually purple, and this has hornworm poop on it. So I'm sure there's a hornworm over in there somewhere. I haven't been able to stay as vigilant with the hornworms because very luckily we have had rain like almost every day, or every evening this week, and so I will not complain about that. But the cool thing about these Black Beauty tomatoes, or any tomato really, I just picked it, and you see it still has green on it, but it's got that blush on the bottom. Well, that means it is actually at the point where it's called the breaking point, where it has already stopped growing, and the chemicals inside of it are now ripening it. So I could leave it on the vine and let it continue to ripen, or I can pull it off, make sure it doesn't get eaten by bugs, take it inside and let it ripen. You're still gonna get the same full flavor from it. This does not affect the taste. You still get that good full flavor. But so we'll set it down. Can't carry it. I shouldn't have even picked it right now, right? I have my basket with me. No, I had my cup. Silly stuff. So we'll sit there, trying to forget it. That also brings me to another thing I'm gonna probably do in the garden. If you look right here behind my truck, see, right there, there's 3 paper boxes. They're not made from paper. They're metal. I got them from our local newspaper called the Chronicle, and they hold newspapers on them. And you put the quarter in and you pull the thing out, right? Waterproof, great. The first reason I got them, which was cool, I was on Facebook, and someone was like, "I want to sell eggs next to the road, but I want a way where I keep them closed, stuff like that." So somebody took a paper box, painted it, said fresh eggs, whatever, and then you do it on the honor system. You put your money in, you take some eggs. So I was like, dude, that's a great idea. I could do that right here. I'm up the road from a neighborhood. People can stop. I got a sign out, have some people stop, but sometimes I'm not home. So that would be great to set it against the road and do the same thing. So that's why I got them. Well, I called the newspaper, and they're like, yeah, we got 3 boxes. I was like, oh, I only need 1. So I went out there, and I was like, they were super easy to get in the truck. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take all 3. So I've got 2 that are like fully enclosed, and I have 1 that's like kind of open. I'm not sure if it's for a different type of newspaper or what, I don't know, magazines maybe. So back to what I'm saying, I'm going to take 1 and I'm going to set it by the garden, make it look nice, set it in the garden for me to keep like my tools and stuff in at the garden, because sometimes like my string, my clippers, a basket, anything, gloves, stuff like that I might need. That way when I'm in the garden like this and I'm like, oh, I see some aphids, or I gotta prune some stuff or do this, I don't have to walk inside and forget what I'm doing, or even just not do it at all. So that's the point of that. Squash. Oh, I didn't mean to upset you. I got my pollinator buddies out here. So the squash is doing magnificent. We don't stay on it as like we should. You can see here, this squash is quite large. I've just been cutting these up, giving them to the animals. But here's another one. Another one like that. That one, they got some borer holes on them. This big plant has done pretty well against any kind of pests. The three smaller ones on the end, they got kind of hit. I've got one still doing its thing, but I did have to pull two up because the vine borers got into it, which I'm not so upset with because we've already had a pretty good yield of squash. My mom comes down here, my grandmother comes down here, and they pick squash and they love them. We pick them and grill them that day. We just don't eat that much squash. It's delicious. Now when before the season started, we had a seed swap out at Hazelwood, and we got some flowers and things. And so, you know, remember Zoe got her lemon balm, and then we got some yarrow, and then this, my friend Farrah gave me this Nasturtium, which it hasn't been doing that great. And I don't know why. I mean, it's been getting good water and stuff. Maybe it's getting choked out on the roots, but I'm not real 100%. But then you've got this that I got from Jess, and it's a black-eyed Susan, and it's actually quite pretty. It took a little while for it to finally bloom, but then now it does. It's got, you know, multiple blooms on it. It's beautiful. Some of my speaking of my tomatoes too, though, like my marigolds on the bottom, they didn't do the hottest. Now my Dill's done good. Right here, I was able to use some of that dill to make pickles. But the marigold, I planted the marigold with them as a companion plant to help deter a lot of the hornworms, you know, the moths, like that. But then some of my other marigolds, like this one, has done pretty good. And I guess it's because it's kind of off by itself and not being shaded by tomato plants. But this one is next to my okra. And I was not aware, so I've never grown okra before. This is the first time actually growing and seeing what okra looks like growing. And the flowers on these okras, check them out. Like, isn't that beautiful? So yes, on these okra plants we do have some aphids. You can see they're being farmed by these ants. There's a better picture of it. I don't know if you can even see it right there. So yes, the ants are farming the aphids, but they're not really hurting the plants, and they're not on any of my other plants. So I've just kind of been letting them do their thing. So probably not the best idea, but also what's leading me into why my garden kind of looks like Pookie Duke over here is one of the reasons why. It's producing okra. I've got a whole handful of okra in the house right now. We're gonna probably fry those up tonight for the 4th. You know, not real sure what our plans are. I might just do a little fire, roast some hot dogs, and then have some grilled okra, and I would just eat stuff that we have. And then my bean stalk on my cool tire setup, old rim. Well, you can tell obviously they are growing quite nicely. You know, it's taller than I am. I don't have any beans on it yet, which is kind of sad. And I don't know if I need to do something to help them, or they're just not. It's just not at that stage where it wants to produce anything yet. But and then behind me here, this is fun. This is my Luffa. My Luffa plant. This is the plant that I was trellising when I hurt my back later on that day. But look at how huge it is. And when I trellised it, the thing decided it was like, yeah, very happy, and took off. So I'm glad I did it. I could have done a taller trellis. Could you imagine if I let this go on the ground? I just would have taken over. But what's exciting is the fact that we have, where'd you go? There's a Luffa. Look at there. Got a Luffa. So I'm hoping it's pollinated. Looks like the flower's dying off of it, so possibility. We've got another one. Man, I am the worst at keeping track of where they are. I just saw it. And we got this one here. Flowers open. Yeah, there's some ants on it, so I'm sure they're doing some more aphid stuff. I might need to work on that, take care of that. But, well, oh, there's another one. They're just kind of waiting to open up. So I'm hoping I can, in my face. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to harvest some Luffa, at some point, and that'd be cool. If you remember, if you're new, you don't remember, but if you're not new, okay, so I gave a Luffa plant, one of my first Luffas that I sprouted from seed, to my friends Jeremy and Cassandra, because I told them I would, so I gave it to them. And theirs has like a nice sized Luffa on it growing. So I really hope that they're able to harvest one from it, because that would just be neat. My flower right here, I have no clue what kind of flower it is. My wife got it and I planted it, but I mean, it's pretty. It's blooming. It's definitely doing a lot better than whenever I first planted it. Then we got a random plant in a pot. It was sitting on our porch, dying, and so Chastity was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna put it in the garden." It's doing well. Bell peppers. They are short, but they are mighty. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regular bell peppers, and then these two on the end are purple bells, and these are cool. I've harvested some of them. I just put some of these in my salsa, and again, the reason for that purple coloring is the fact that they are full of antioxidants. So it's good for you. It helps you. Helps your blood travel and bring oxygen to your extremities, along with whatever else it does. So my little peppers my mom wanted me to plant have taken off too, and I also put some of them in my salsa, which made a great thing. But they are taking off so much, it's hard to catch up with them. These are yummy. These are actually sweet peppers. They're not spicy. I mean, of course they have a little bit of spice to them, but they're not like hot. They're not heat. They're not Carolina Reaper or habanero and nothing like that. So now is kind of the embarrassing part. You know what? Not yet. Not yet. Hold your horses. So we have our cucumbers. Of course, I mean, they are everywhere. You can see, like, again, not staying on them too much. They're getting big. I could get that one and that'd be fine. And the reason I'm not staying on them as much is because I've pickled all I want to pickle. And so I've been using them to kind of put in the animals' waters, give them a nice, delicious cucumber water, keep them hydrated. I cut them in half and give them to the chickens. Again, nutrients, hydration, all that stuff. So now for the embarrassing part. It's these tomatoes and these tomatoes. Now the reason I'm still able to harvest tomatoes off here. This is black strawberry tomato. Get a little ripen, starting to ripe. Let it go. But then we got the reasoning. It looks like dookie. And guys like these. So you could be thinking, like, why don't you do something about it? So the purpose in my first garden was to see if I could do it, right? I wanted to know, I didn't do the best planning. I didn't do the best planning with my garden. I didn't plan out the rows, really. I didn't draw it up like a lot of people do. I definitely flew by the seat of my pants on all of these. And so up here, where my black beauties, my dash sunsets, and my beefsteaks, they have all been producing well and doing well. Very, very light, I hear you, very light pest damage. I have found hornworms on there and some small caterpillars that I have no clue what kind of caterpillars they are. But the fact is, I'm using this first garden to learn, to teach me what pests I could possibly have to deal with, right? And that might be a dumb idea because some of these pests could lay eggs in the soil and they're going to come back. But the truth is, I can then battle them at that point. I did not want to spread any kind of diatomaceous earth or BT or anything like that, because I also didn't want it to possibly affect my pollinators. So really kind of figuring out the permaculture side of it and trying to companion plant. That's why I planted my marigolds in here, and I guess I'm probably just planting them too close to the tomatoes, because the ones that are under the tomatoes did not do well. It didn't stay nice. You know, you see it has a little bloom on it over here too. Then I have a little nasturtium right there, that red. And so I'm trying to figure out what deters what kind of pests I might have, so that I know, like, okay, I need to look up what helps with this, what does this, what I can do. Now, one thing I have noticed is the fact that, like, the birds have caused a little bit of damage. They haven't really gone after the fruit, but I've seen them attack those little, I don't even know what it is. See, that's the problem. I'm learning, so I'm looking up what these different things are. So I don't know what that is. To me, that's what we call a stink bug. And so I'll look it up, taking pictures as I can, especially of these little caterpillars that I have in here. Not hornworms, but they're like actual caterpillars. But what's kind of different is the fact that it's only 2 rows right here. These 2 rows closest to the woods, not up here. So I'm trying to figure that part out as well, of why are they down here and not so much up here. Maybe it's because these rows are closer to each other and that one's a little further away. I don't know. So that's the purpose of letting all this happen. I'm letting it happen because I want to see what is happening. I want to see what's coming, what is coming for it, like what bugs are coming for my plants, what predators are coming for the bugs, and what I can do to kind of work with nature to either scare them away or help bring other things in to eat them. And that's also same with the aphids on my okra, and now it looks like I have some over here, but there's not so much damage. Okay, on these tomatoes there's a lot of damage because I can literally see where they're wilting. I have, it's getting hot, so I'm starting to sweat. You see where they're wilting, the yellowing. I've given them nitrogen. I've used the fish emulsion fertilizer when I see them yellow, and that has helped. I have picked fruits off of these. So it's not like I'm just, I thought I had ants on me. It's not like I'm just letting them go to waste and planting it for no reason. I did harvest them. I harvested some San Marzanos, some of my non-noirs, definitely these black strawberry tomatoes. I have a huge Abe Lincoln in the house right now. I'll go get it and show it to you before I end this, because it's the size of my hand. It's awesome. It's starting to ripen, and I can't wait to cut into it. That's gonna be a good mater sandwich. But the kids are out here all the time picking the black strawberry tomatoes, so it's not so bad where I'm just doing things. I do come out here with a black light, and I go to war with the hornworms, and there's little other caterpillars. So I am doing things to try to fight them. I'm not just letting them take over, because I don't, I still have time and harvest to get. So I'm also learning on the different diseases that I might have to deal with. Like I said, when it turns yellow, that's needs some nitrogen, or you start to get blossom end rot. Blossom end rot can come from not watering enough. You got worms, you got all kinds of things flying around. But I have seen also beneficial insects. We just took 2 praying mantises off of the dogwood tree over here, and we put them on tomato plants. So there's predators coming. I just had to find a way to give them a place to live, so they'll be closer. I had to build like a little little predator condominium around. Let them do things. I do have some ideas, but that all comes down to budget and time. It possibly could happen for next season, but we'll see. What I'm thinking is something similar to what I have here. So I took this old trampoline frame, flipped it upside down, and I'm going to put wire around it so that the chickens that we have in here can have more room. But then also I'm thinking about fencing in the whole garden area, so in the off season I can let them out and they can forage and eat bugs and poop and fertilize and things like that. I kind of want to tell you my other idea, but then I kind of don't, because I don't want it to not happen, or I don't know. We'll see. That'll be a different video, completely different video. So the garden tour, my ice plant is alive. I don't know if you were with me on that journey. Basically my whole journey of planting things too early. Planted this ice plant when it was too cold. It was warm, and then it got too cold and it died. But now look at it. It's very pretty. We'll leave the coffee. It's pretty much done anyways. Here is a failed project, and it's failed. Yes, failed. Well, I don't want to chalk it up to a failure, but it did not do what it needed to do in order to do what I wanted it to do. I tried my 3 sisters. Okay, got corn. I planted the corn, and once they got to the right size, I then planted the bean from seed. There's no transplanting. And then once it was supposed to get taller and grow up, and then I was supposed to plant like squash or zucchini along the bottoms. Well, as you can tell, they never got super high, and the beans are kind of choking out my corn. Yeah, so the beans are doing amazing, but it's like just choking out my corn. I am producing some corn right there, but and then this was actually strawberry popcorn. I was able to harvest 1 thing of corn off of it, and so it's drying in the house now so that we can pop it. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not willing to chalk it up to a failure, because the plants are producing, they're growing, just not the way the 3 sisters was supposed to work. So, but I'm watering them, keep them going. So we got corn. Tickle. hand pollinate, jiggle them. It's been a little wet, so I'll grab off and do this. I just found out that each one of these little tendrils, these little hairs, each one of those little hairs accounts for a kernel on that cob. So you have to make sure every single one of them has the pollen on there so that it will form all those kernels. Neat. So yeah, that's our garden tour. That's the update. That's what we got going on here. We are learning, constantly learning. And then we'll just get better next year. One step at a time, one day at a time. We'll consistently get better. These sunflowers are absolutely gorgeous. Stunning. Just stunning. A lot of bee friends. So pretty. They're enjoying their pollen. I have no clue what variety they are. One we rescued from Charlie and Lisa's. One we got from that seed swap. And the rest were in a variety pack that Chastity was like, oh, plant them. And she planted them. And that is what produced. So in hindsight, the garden is beautiful. We have growth. We have life. I'm going to do a video on wood chips and what you should know about them before using them. Wood chips are great, but there's some things you should know before using them. Stay tuned for that video. So yeah, hope you stuck around for this whole thing. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me and enjoying this beautiful morning in the garden on our July 4th here in the States. So if you celebrate July 4th, happy Independence Day. Hope you had a safe one, because of course we'll see this after today. And appreciate y'all hanging out with me today, and we'll catch you next one.